Yes, welcome back to Daybreak. Today is Tuesday, and like I told you at the beginning of the show, today we're doing part 2 of Engage. It's now bigger and better, and we are inviting you to ask some of your questions. A lot of you guys complained that we didn't get to most of your questions, so we're going to start with some of the questions from last week, even as we invite you to send in more questions on 22422. And these are questions generally about life. Vitu tu zinawasumbua. Na msiseme mambo ya traffic, at least Sonko ashatusaidia. Whether it's too little too late, but ni sawa. At least ametusaidia. That's a story for another day. But joining us we have on my left, tuseme kama professional view ya kitambo. On my left we have CJ Atemo. Welcome.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Karibu sana back to Citizen. And we're still saying the prophetic. Doctor. Welio Dendo. As well. Wow, so I just need to remind you guys that the SMS lines are 22422. And the hashtag to use is Daybreak, so you can contact us on any of those. I'll start with some of the questions from last week on 22422. Somebody said, my husband really disrespects me, keeps abusing me. He doesn't like it when I share about my situations with a friend, his mother, or even his family, or my family. When I try to dialogue, I am tagged as the bad one by him. For him, he always tells me he shares and seeks advice from friends. Isn't that being selfish? Mimi nikae na stress zangu, but yeye aambie a friend. So that, I think, is a problem of communication. I guess we'll start with you. What does somebody do in such a situation?
Well, I think the man should understand that women are communicative in nature. There is no possibility of a woman just containing everything. Somehow she needs to talk about it, otherwise she's going to break. But again, probably the concerns of the man is, he feels he's being exposed. Because men, again, are very territorial and egoistic at the same time. So sometimes he feels that he's being exposed. But I think that if the lady is talking to people like his own family, I think that's okay. Because she's not going out there. So she just needs to find that balance of, she needs to talk, but who is she talking to? It must be somebody that the man will not feel like he's compromised or exposed. And I think talking to the family of the man is still okay.
What if the man feels, mama yangu hajazoea kwamba niko na tabia hii, alafu nenda kumwambia niko na hii tabia?
But somehow, you see, there has to be communication. Because most of the issues in relationships are communication issues. And if she cannot express how she feels, then she's going to crack on the inside. And eventually, she's going to act it out. She will either throw a tantrum, she will react in a certain way, or she will blow up by herself. She has to bring it out. The ideal would have been for him to allow her to have communication. Most people in relationships and marriage are afraid of having difficult conversations. They just want to sweep it under. So after 2 days, we pick it up as if nothing happened. But you see, that's not a healthy relationship. Things have got to be addressed. So somehow, if he's not offering her that opportunity to deal with it, then she's going to have to deal with somebody else. And because it's affecting her, I think it is important to talk about. Right.
And what about talking to each other? Like Chris is saying that sometimes tunapenda tu kuweka chini na ikifika tumegombana kitu wanawa sasa wacha tusahau. So do you wait it out hadi you sort the issue? How about talking to each other?
I think actually the hardest part of human engagement is actually the simplest. That is initiating conversations. Even you've seen in this country, just 2 people initiated a conversation and it was called the handshake, and it appeared as if we can't say we are in a utopia of some sort, but calm and some level of flow began to occur. The difficulty here is how you initiate the conversation and who guides the conversation, because I believe a relationship should have rules of conversation, or else when conversations are allowed to be spontaneous, they are bound to be eruptive. Because you'll want to talk when I've an honorable guest like this in the house. That's when you'll be asking me, how many times will I tell you to flush the toilet after use? How many times will I tell you, But I think there should be some rules to every conversation, because it should be that, and that's the problem. you know, we normally sometimes marry the people we love, but we actually need to find people whom we suit. We can suit each other. And by suiting is that I can actually see that it is easier for me to initiate what my friend Chris has said, difficult conversations, because there are sometimes very difficult conversations. Right. I also want to maybe ask the lady, she probably should also consider asking the man, whom do you think I should be talking to? Don't choose for yourself whom you should be talking to because you're the wife. I think winda nakwambia Willis mashida za Willis zote. Chances are, I feel like, as he said, I don't want to be exposed to you at that degree that they're saying. So you should say, if I have a problem, whom do you think you are safe me talking to? And whoever he thinks, you'd rather start with that person, or tell that person to guide you to the person you think is preferable. It will help to set reconciling mechanisms in that relationship. And so I think when it comes to talking and talking to each other, it's normally, it sounds easy, but it's a skill. It's a skill. It's a skill that you develop, and it's a science that you develop. There are some people who say, hey, if we go 2 days without talking, whoever initiates the conversation, the person must listen. And you say these things when you're high. Don't try to set rules when umejam.
Ukisema high, lazima
you have to. You don't say these things after watching 10 over 10.
Let's not get... Unaweza kuwa high. Watu wasema, Weli alisema. Wait, ningoje nakuja.
Kamua, let me kamua this thing. I think people should set rules when they are sober. Let me use, when things are okay, when everything is okay, the bads and everything is happening. That's the best time to set the rules. Hey, the day things are not happening, how do we work it out? It's very hard. By the time Chris here, who is a relationship expert, by the time they are called, they actually found that, hey, you guys burnt the house. They ask, have you guys, how do you reconcile issues? Asunya maziana mpaka mmoja achoke. So then it's normally when things are high, try, or sober, try have those mechanisms in place.
So you try to talk about it
before it ever happens, when everything is okay. Start talking about it. Hey, what should we do in case we have a flare? What should we do? Should he find one of us in an affair? What should we do? Should somebody lose their job? What should we do if I get a terminal disease? What should we do if I cannot get a child? What should we... All these are difficult. Now, let's not wait until when it's happening. That's when we're initiating. I think it's going to be harder. I don't know.
You know, I'm just thinking about how, when you say that, sometimes people tell each other, anything, you just tell me anything. If you think that you're even trying to stray, just talk to me. And then when that is done, all hell breaks loose. And sometimes also reactions of partners hinders conversation. Where somebody is afraid. They may have just given you 20% of what they want to talk about. Then they see you blow up, react, or you've gone into a cave or something. Then they're thinking, okay, so if I really share what is bothering me, this case is going to be just off. So it's important in that initiation process that somebody will hold themselves back and put yourself in the other person's shoes. They have trusted you to talk to you, so that you don't look at it from an interested party point of view. You're thinking, oh, so you are seeing somebody at work. This person is trying to seek help from you, or they have borrowed money and now they're in debt and they're trying to talk to you, and then you first react with the issue of how did you borrow money without telling me, not realizing this person has actually trusted you enough to come back for help, and they're owning up. So I think people must also create that space here.
All right, so still on that 22422, hold on, I see a text here from, oh, sorry.
Initiating conversation.
I thought my cousin wanted to say something. Anyway. Then, because there's also somebody who says, this is another sad one, and this is in relation to what has been going on in terms of even what the government is doing. So it says, I am a mother of, I think I said a mother of 6. I realized that I am a mother of 6. I realized she acts porn. She's all over the internet. Should I get her back for the sake of the kids? This is Samuel. I think the mother acts porn and she has 6 children. So he's saying, Samuel is asking, should I get her back for the sake of the kids? What do I do when I find out that the mother of my 6 children is actually acting porn?
Wow.
That's a question that has come in as well from one Samuel.
Well, I think, you know, there's already a breach to the marriage. I don't think that then the tenets that would hold a marriage are still holding in that case. This is not just something that is an affair that somebody has where they say they fell in love with somebody. This is now an issue of values, where this person can actually do anything to get money. They've exposed their marriage themselves to something very crazy, very risky. Now, I don't know how she acts as a mother. I think that you don't keep somebody just because of the children, but you can allow them to participate in the life of those children. If she's willing to break away from what she's doing, you know, maybe he can try to work out his marriage. But if she insists on whatever she's doing, I don't think that's a marriage. You know, that's not a marriage. But he can keep her having access to the children just as a mother. That is, if she's a good mother to them, well, whichever case, she's their mother. But for marriage purposes, I think that has been breached, in my view. I'll listen to the dog.
Things are hard in this city.
Yes, yes. It's actually very,
That's complex, because also once somebody has commercialized their lives to that extent, it means, and then they've commercialized, and on the other side, they've been able to keep it a secret for that long. That tells you they're not mindful of your health. They're not mindful of your honor. They're not mindful of the damage and the impact it has on the children. I think that's the height of selfishness, and you cannot have a marriage with a selfish partner. Marriage is a selfless relationship, and what this partner has expressed is the height of selfishness. The amount of secrets, porn is not Disney. To actually leave the house, hey, hi, I'm going to work, and then you disappear, and then you're in a room, and then you're told, cut, repeat, and then it is edited and made, and you know very well that your partner does not know that, and then you earn a living from that. This is not rape, this is not, you actually earn a living from that. And maybe through any other means your husband has come to find out, if I have, you can go and have an affair, that is maybe a mutual distraction or something like that. But this is now a commercial decision that you're making, that this is how you want to spend your life. I would join Chris. This is serious damage, not only to your marriage, but that tells you that person where they are at in life in terms of values. I don't think you're going to be able to glue a union there. And
still, and again, just invite you guys, you can still also send your comments and views and questions on 22422. That's our SMS line, 22422. That number again, 22422, and then the hashtag is daybreak. Still on that, because we've seen like the government saying that they're going to ban porn sites because they've realized there's a problem. A lot of the youth, hopefully now, who are even watching, are addicted. So what are some of the steps maybe that somebody says, okay, Mimi, I'm an addict, but I need to stop? Or parents who find out, oh my God, my kids, nimeona kwa browser history, my children have been watching porn. What does somebody do?
I'll try and talk from the parent side. First of all, let me be proactive. Like, parents are supposed to really get involved in what their children are doing, especially in this age. You can't just abdicate your duty because the child is always home, they're quiet, they're in the room, so they have a computer, they have a phone, and you feel because they're not messing you up, you have time to either watch football or watch your other stuff, so you leave them there because today the whole world comes to them on a piece of gadget. So you need to be knowing, what are they watching? What are they looking at? You cannot allow anybody else to parent your child. Teachers can just play a role. The house girls or the house managers, they have their role, but then parenting is your responsibility as a parent. But when you find that your children are involved in addiction of any sort, I think then you've got to initiate a conversation because something drove them there. In the older days, you'd just be hit. You found doing something wrong and they beat the hell out of you.
Yes.
They will not realize that there's something you're crying out for. You're seeking something. And everybody seeks, they're seeking attention. They're seeking affirmation. People are seeking information. They're trying to discover themselves. And probably sometimes people go there, younger people, they go there because there's certain conversations you're not having with them. Curiosity will take them there, peers will take them over there. So you need to initiate a conversation with them about the things that they're watching and begin to reason with them about why they should not. Stifling somebody from doing something may not kill the desire. You know, they may just become wiser, or they change, they go somewhere else and watch it. So I think there is a need for conversation, and then there is a need now for you to begin to bring them on the right path. I remember a case where a lady had just discovered that her daughter, who had cleared Form 4, was seeing another lady that they were with in school. And so she was so upset, and then she took away the phone, she took away everything from this girl. So we went to the house to talk with them, and I said, give her back the phone. She said, why? I said, I want you to show her that you trust her. So she needs to now reciprocate, that you're not taking away that, but you trust her enough. And the thing broke. Well, it will not be the copy-paste in every place. But what I'm saying is that there's a need to engage in conversation. If I am caught up in something like porn and I really want to come out, then I should seek help, because you can't bring out somebody who doesn't want to come out, you know. Yeah, so I think it's a whole conversational issue. If I am the one who is a parent, then I want to find out, why are you there? What are you doing? What are you trying to find out? Then I give you the pros, the cons. Okay, they're not pros.
Mostly the cons.
The cons, yeah, and guide you. Because when somebody sees the sense, no matter where they go in life, they will keep the teaching. If I say, you can't do that in this house, so I'm shutting down the internet, we won't have Wi-Fi. When this person goes somewhere else where they have the Wi-Fi, they will, you know, they'll still do that. But if I'm the one who's caught up in it and I really want to come out, I need to find somebody that I can talk to. We mostly think that we're the only ones who are struggling, and then we stay in the struggle. The easiest way to stay in a struggle is to keep it a secret. The moment you talk about it, you break the fear. And you'll find out that, oh my goodness, I thought the well is doing fine, but he has another issue. It may not
a bundle of issues.
Yeah, a bundle of issues.
Bundles.
What about for, like I say also the GP.
I'm a GP.
Also for the, well, okay, I think we opened the floodgates. Anyway, what about for those who, like that, you know, child who's watching now and is like, okay, hata mimi nimeogopa kwenda kuambia mzae, like I've identified that yes I want to come out, like hey, how do we, like Chris said, I almost said Dr. Chris, receive. How do we, like Chris said, initiate the conversation? Na mzazi mkali. Yes. How do you do it?
I think first of all, parents should realize that you are parenting in an age of heightened awareness,
right,
and heightened access, and heightened access. So you're battling three things in one child.
Heightened awareness.
There's heightened awareness, heightened access, and access. They're being bombarded by all those three things at once. Your rage will not reduce their awareness. Your rage will not limit their access. Your rage will not limit their access. Only thing your rage will do is to, the time you discover is either when your child is either dying from a terminal disease, contracted a terminal disease, or was caught when Dr. Ezekiel is doing a swoop in a house and you hear your child was caught, or
shout out to the doc.
That's the time it's going to hit you. When did you start all this? Right. You have got to know this, that there's a stage in the development of a human soul where they're looking now for social identity. Their primary identity, which is the family, father, mother, pleasing you now no longer matters. Now it matters, what can I do to get, now I don't want the love of my sister, I want the love of that girl who is not my sister, or that boy who is not my brother. That now begins to be important. Before, when they're young, it's as long as my sister loves me, daddy and mom loves me, that matters. At that particular phase, it's critical for the parent to actually guide this child so that they don't get modified by the need to be socially identified. If you don't become a voice of guidance in as this kid is seeking that social identification, because they cannot belong to father, mother, and brother, sister forever. They have got to widen the scope of relationship. So you've got to tell the child that, hey, you now have access to so many friends and so many relatives and so many people who want to have sex with you. Your body parts are telling you something. You're going through modifications internally and physically, and they're making you feel like a grown-up. But I want you to know that, one, the power of choice and consequence. You cannot let your child go through life without telling them that actually in all this access and awareness, there's something called choice, but that choice comes with consequence. There's something called freedom, but that freedom comes with purpose. There's something called power, but that power comes with a degree of responsibility. And don't let all these things just show you the power, the freedom, and all these things. I want you to see, because as a grown-up, your job is to know you cannot stop this child from seeing this. You can only enlarge how much they can see. So you ought to be the person who is trying to show him the power of consequences. I remember when we were younger, the government back then, I don't know what they used to do, but they would bring us some very sick people from cigarette smoking and some horrific things, and then they would make you see after lunchtime. So even before you smoke, and then the next day they would bring somebody suffering, and then the next time. And that, what did that show us? They just showed us consequential thinking. And they made us realize, I may have the freedom, but I want to be a doctor, I want to be this. I may lose my purpose. In the midst of all these freedoms, I may lose my purpose. So what will that do? It made us more conscious in everything that we were doing. We knew that everything we do, we need to have a balance towards it. So I think for the child, you need to actually think consequentially. That's what I would tell a young man out there, especially those who have cleared Form 4, going also with what was happening in Ambira. That is just a sign that it doesn't mean that the kids mean evil, but they just lack that consequential thinking that comes with age.
All right. There's some SMS that have come in. I guess we want to take some of them as well. Guys, it's good you have brought this conversation, but the fact to me remains that today's woman is beyond professional relationship or artisan, because the devil has impersonated to women who was in Eden, and so no man can now claim peace with his woman. Someone says, hi gentlemen, I once asked my husband, babe, unaweza do aje ukijua niko na affair? We ile jibu nilipata. Until today he thinks I'm having an affair. I think men are just difficult to talk to. Then someone is anonymous says, I have a husband, I fear him so much. When he's drunk he does not talk. When he's sober he's too harsh on me. I think he meant harsher, harsh, H-A-R-S-D, H-A-R-S-H. I'm always afraid of telling him my problems and about the stress he's giving me. Right? Then I have a girl that I really like and I want to be in a relationship with her, but she told me to wait and give her time so she can make decisions. Should I wait? What if she disappears, or rather disappoints me afterwards? Disappears is my own paraphrase. Another one who's anonymous. Hi, I got a baby when I was in campus, but due to lack of finance, my girlfriend disowned me as a father, and now she's married to another man together with my daughter. What do I do? So there are different questions there. I guess we'll begin with that one who thinks that you cannot have peace with any woman because they're the devil incarnate. And there are actually people who think and reason like that.
Well, just picking the tone of this gentleman, you'd pick up that there has been an experience that he has had. And he has allowed that experience now to shape his philosophy. And maybe now, because of that, he doesn't get the best out of any lady that would come around him. Maybe he's the kind, I'm just thinking, maybe he's the kind that, you know, would really trust, would really give himself into something. So he was betrayed so badly. And now he has formed a philosophy out of that. And every person that would come around him, the problem with that is that then you look at them that way. And you don't draw the best out of them because you're not either giving the best of you. And once you have a template of how you relate with people, they will somehow fit into it. And then you will decide that they're all the same when they're not all the same. You know, if you're this, for example, very angry person, and people keep on walking out on you. You'll keep on saying people are walking out on me, not realizing you're actually pushing people away. So the first person comes, they go. Nobody's going to take all that. And then the second one goes away and the third one. So you keep on getting more angry that they're all walking away, not realizing that you have a problem. So I think this guy needs to go past the experience that he had. There are good women out there. Women are not the devil. He's a son of a mother. You know, women are not the devil at all. He has to go past that experience. He has to allow himself to heal. Sometimes people hold on to their pain longer than they should, and then they make that pain become their God. And they begin to relate with people from the point of their pain, and they look at themselves as a victim. He needs to go past that and begin to allow people the space to just prove themselves in his life.
Right. And then there's also that one who from Essie who also asked, I once asked my husband, babe, unaweza do aje kama niko na affair? And how did today the husband thinks she has an affair? And he says men are just difficult to talk to.
You know, men don't process like women. Men think in blocks. You don't bring up a matter that is not present. We were made from soil. I come from. There are people who believe they came from monkeys, others from sand. But I think being made from soil makes more sense to me. I think we are made from soil. The thing about men is that whenever you bring up a matter, we are solution oriented. So immediately I start saying, by the way, Pastor Chris, what would you do if you discover I'm drinking? He already starts thinking, this guy is drinking.
Are you drinking?
Are you drinking?
There's no asking for
asking for on behalf of friend. But women are social in nature. They are conversational in nature. They may even be thinking, the way they've asked the question about whether they're having an affair is the same way they would ask, what would you do if I dyed my hair red? What would you do if I changed the colors of the... just some days ago, I woke up in the morning and I thought thieves were in the house, just to find that my wife decided, well, I think the sitting room needs to change now and look like this. And now she's tired, and I'm thinking, it has always been okay for the many years you've stayed here. But she thinks, well, I think I should change it. And then maybe she'll go back and say, no, I discovered that the angle is not right. Let's just take it back to how it was. But women are social and conversational in nature. The man should not be too hard on it. And that's one thing that the women should know, is that by the time you're going to your man, you better actually have worked on the social strength of your relationship. You know, some of us have a professional relationship with their husbands and with their wives. Unakula, it's like a doctor. How are you feeling today? I'm hungry. I serve food. Will you shower now? Yes. Which clothes are you wearing? Are the kids home? Yes. And if you're still at that stage of a relationship, professional, avoid these social conversations. Hey, Babwana is handsome. Avoid those social ones. Wait until you are at where the Atemos are. When they are out of there. Wait until, don't start it there. So you can, but now if you're still at professional level, don't introduce very social things, because you'll be wondering, what are you telling me? That Amate Willis is a very charming personality. What do you mean charming? Charming, what are you telling me?
Mimi say charming.
I'm bored. Why did you marry me then? You always look down on me, you think of other men. Yeah. So, don't rush conversations. Women can sometimes rush it, and I'm pretty sure maybe she meant it innocently, but I don't think their relationship could handle a third party. According to her, it's a simple conversation, but men, as he said, are territorial. You've introduced a party in his territory, and he's now consistently looking, who is this? Could it be? Is it my friend? Is it in the office? And so if you're still at, and don't rush, if you're still at the professional level, do that part well. Umekula, umekunywa, unavaa nguo gani kesho? Are we going out on Friday? Wageni wamekuja. When the relationship grows, then now you can begin to play those games.
Yeah, I'm thinking with what you're saying, actually the lady could just have been thinking, I want to know where he has placed me.
Yeah.
That could have been her intention. She just wants to hear that this man would fight for her.
Yeah.
But then the man is fighting her.
He's a problem.
Her surprise.
He's a problem, yeah.
Alishtuka kusikia.
Alishtuka sana. Well, Let's look at some others because I know there are so many and we have a few minutes left here. Somebody says there are two more, and I think we lump the two that were asked because I think they are both communication related. Because one says, I have a husband who I fear when he's drunk, he doesn't talk. When he's sober, he's very harsh. And so I'm afraid of telling me any of my problems about the stress that he gives me. And the other one who talked about, there's a girl who has said, nipatie time. Na ameogopa, akimpatia time, atapewa time out. Hataenda, hiyo story itakuwa imeisha hivyo. What do we say to them before you take the other set, because they are also very serious ones?
You know, I think this guy is using his harshness as a defense mechanism. I think that there's something that he's not comfortable with her stepping into. You can't just be harsh for no reason. You know, either it's things he's dealt with, or there is something just within that marriage that he doesn't know how to talk about. And she needs to break it. She needs to be willing to, for the sake of saving her marriage or just knowing her place in that relationship, she needs to dare the devil. You know, just bring up a conversation. Let him react. Let him do whatever he needs to do. You know, when you're taming a snake, the first time you pick it up, it will bite. Then you pick it up again, then it will bite. Then after a while, it will stop biting because then it no longer feels like it is threatened. I think that she needs to initiate, expecting the reaction, let him blow up, let the conversation not even end, he walks out, he does that. Then after a while again, she picks it up. She needs to not play into his game of also becoming upset and getting angry. So she sticks to the issues, remains very objective, and feels like we still did not talk about this because she's in this marriage to stay, you know, and these are things that are bothering her and they've got to be talked about. Eventually, if that cannot happen, then probably have somebody else now as a third party coming in to help.
All right, there's some 3 other SMSs that have come in, and well, let's take a look at them. I've been married for 3 years. My husband is a huge cheater, violent at times. Nimekuwa naenda, then he says he has changed, then tunarudi kwa zile issues. Nikienda huwa anasema ati watu wanamtusi, juu nimeenda na watoi. What will I do? I'm very sad inside. I no longer know peace and happiness. That's Teresa. Didn't leave the name. Hi, Engage. I have been married on and off kind of marriage with 3 girls. We did a wedding, but still things are not working out. What should I do? Because I'm not happy in this life. And Levina says, I'm this person that when I am low, I always need a friend to talk to. But unfortunately, the friends I have never call or text me unless I do so. I find it hard to share my problems. Advice. Yeah, those are just some of them. There are many others have come in. And again, we might pick up next week as well. So what do we say to, let's start with that one who says that they've been, you know, they have issues with affairs. A serial cheater and violent. I go, he does it. When I come back, tuko sawa, we go back to the same issue. I go, now I'm now a laughing stock. I come back, it's like a cycle.
I think even the reason that he gives for bringing her back is outrageous. It just shows you somebody who is very selfish. You know, he's not thinking about her. He's thinking about him, that people are laughing at me. He's not thinking about why did she leave? How did she feel? What did this do to her? And I think in this case, you know, she should have somebody else. You know, they should call Welly. And then they talk about those kind of issues. Because if the 2 of them are not breaking out of something, somebody else needs to come in to help them set the rules of engagement. That they agree, if you're going to make this thing work, number 1, this will not happen. You will not do this. You've got to have levels of accountability. You must be willing to work this thing out. You must show your partner that you're willing to change. You want this thing to work. So you'll be letting them know where I am at, who I'm talking to, be a bit more open. It means you disengage from certain people. There must be the outward proof that he wants to make this thing work, and not just because of how it looks on him socially. So if she feels that, you know, he never changes and she still wants this marriage to work, she may need to bring in somebody just to hold him to account and not play to his, you know, there's like someone who's just pulling strings every time, and that selfishness, it needs to be called out. for what it is. It is complete selfishness. If he knows that she always will come back because she sympathizes, he will never change. He'll just keep on doing that, and then knowing that I'll pull up these strings of, people are looking at me in the wrong way, or maybe financially he's the guy who supports, and then she feels like she needs to come back. So I would advise that she needs somebody to help them set the rules. Yeah.
What about the same situation, but also Tano says that amejaribu mara tatu na madem different hadi ndoa.
All I can say is that, and this goes to those who are thinking of getting married, such problems don't begin in marriage. They begin before. Many people marry low. They never marry high. By marrying low is that you marry because your biological clock is ticking. You marry because your best friend got married. You marry because now you got a kid and this is the only guy who is ready to take you up with a kid. For whatever reasons that you marry, when you make the reasons for settling down with somebody low, this person will never want to aspire to go high. Secondly, I think the man, when you start seeing that level of behavior, that means that he has a wound. He's trying to heal something. The sex is the urge to heal an inner wound. And ladies don't know this, that a woman can never heal the wound of a man. It takes another man to walk into his life. Now, when men are wounded, what they do to women is they tell the woman, don't tell anybody. But I think that woman should weave out of that, find a man, either the father or the brother or somebody, to go and walk to him and ask him, where is this wound coming from? Because it takes a man to heal a man. When women go through breakdowns, and that's why most men commit suicides more than women, because when women go through breakdown, they will go and be absorbed into a body of women, either their chama girls, their sisters, and they'll embrace her and take her through that. But a man will watch football
and not talk about it.
Designated survivor. Anakuanga hivyo. Hiyo mlango akitoka mwingine ataingia, but you don't know that's a wound. You're speaking from your wounds. Then it starts cracking out. It starts when you see rage, that's a wound. Most of these men, they find themselves holding authority over a wife or over a woman that nobody ever modeled for them appropriately how to handle responsibility. So they find themselves all of a sudden with so much power in their hands, and they've never been modeled for how to handle it. So I think most of these problems, they begin before. Most of the women are marrying low. You are marrying the guy. These sweet guys who are wako home au kuchukua jioni, just take some time. Take some time, and you don't think availability is love.
Right.
It's probably a cover-up for something else.
That's not there. All right, we have 5 minutes to the top of the hour, so I'll take one more here. Somebody says, there's that one who said, I got a baby when I was in campus, but because I didn't have money, my girlfriend disowned me as a father, and he's now married to somebody else together with my daughter. What does that person do?
That's legal.
Well, sometimes also, sometimes I think that young men especially, when they lose a lady, the first thing they think is because I didn't have money. That's always what they pull. A girl left me because I didn't have money. Yeah. And sometimes the issues are deeper. I think that women can go with a man who doesn't have money. In fact, most men, I don't think when Welly was getting married, he had money. I didn't have money when I was getting married, you know. Most men will tell you that their marriages were made from a point where there was no money, but the woman believed in the man. So the man must make himself believable, dependable. He must make himself become the leader that this woman would want to follow. He must show vision. He must show passion. There must be something about him, self-motivated, a drive, that this woman knows, even though this guy does not have money right now, I love the way he works. I love the way his life is structured. I love the way he perceives life and all that. She will stick with you, even without the money. But if you are visionless, so you're over there, you're always to be pitied, then you'll say she left you for the money, and it was not for the money, because women are marrying people who are broke. Yeah, but you know, right now what he can do is just to negotiate with her about him having access to the child. But the woman is married. There's nothing he can do about that. He needs to marry somebody else.
Do unto others what has been done to.
All right. Well, of course, you would like to say thank you so much. Like we said, for those of you who sent in, so many comments came in from 22422. We'll pick up on some of them again next week. But maybe just before we leave, because especially now it's the time kuna watoto wamefunga, kuna wale walipata pengine hakupata favorable results, that some are still going through that stage, they don't know what they're going to do. Maybe just a word for especially the teenagers, I think, who might be watching, and even for their parents, even as we wrap up. Your camera's that one, yours is that one.
So, well, if you're a young man or a young woman and you didn't get the results you expected or desired to get, I want to tell you that you can still make a choice. And the choice is always either you can apply next year to receipt for a paper, or you can make adjustments to your life and take the opportunities that will come to you at the grade that you got and work upwards. Secondly, you should know that don't make decisions while you're still at the point of feeling ashamed and all that, because you're going to make yourself feel smaller and lesser than you are. Being a grown-up and being an adult, you're going to learn that we always don't get the results we go out to get for, but we learn to work and deal with what life serves us, even when it doesn't meet our expectation. So I would urge you to be strong, be focused, find a community and belong to that community. I would advise you either find a church that you can belong to and begin to avail your services there, and there you will get mentors who will enable you to survive and live through the decision that you've been through. So be strong. Parents, kindly don't use your children as trophies. It is their grade. It's not about you, that wameniangusha, wameni let down. It's not about you, it's about your kid. And so don't try to make your kid feel as if they let you down. They did the best they could do with the kind of resources that was available to them. So be a parent at this time and not a judge.
Yeah, parent, not a judge, right?
You know, I'm just thinking, funnily enough, some of the parents never did very well at school either, but then you somehow made it in life, and then you spend so much money taking this child to a school, hoping that the school is going to change this person and make them a high performer. But I will say this to the young people, that, you know, you can acquire life skills within the period that you were looking for the next thing. You can be offering your services, as well as said, you can be offering your services, volunteer in places, go and gain, because life is bigger than just a classroom. And people who make it out there are not people who had notes or people who had papers. They're people who understood how to survive in life. And now people are not being hired for their papers, they're being hired for their skills. So you can grow in skill. When it comes to school, you can always keep going back. You know, it didn't stop with you at 18. You can always go back. You can start your degree at 30. You can start your degree at 35. So, and the parents, you know, just remove the pressure. So it's not over. You keep it going.
Right. We would like to say thank you so much for coming through. And like we always say, because it doesn't end here, usingoje sana hadi next week, kwa sababu ulikuwa na shida na tukuisoma hapa hivi. You can always reach out to both of these great gentlemen at CJ Atemo, that's his handle, right?
Right.
And yours is at Welly Odendo. At Welly Odendo. You can reach out to them, and ikiwasikana sana, baada hii tutapiga picha. Nitaweka kwa handle yangu. Ukisahau, just come back and scroll back to the Tuesday and you'll find the handles there. You can always reach out to them even after this. Don't suffer alone. Always reach out to somebody. Seek professional help from those who've gone ahead, and that way you'll be happy in life. Yes, right. Don't go too far as well. Sam Gituki is going to be back in this hour actually. There are more that's going on. Our correspondents are also around the country. They're set to give you updates on what's going on. Good news though, in case you're just waking up for some good reason, in case you're just waking up, the ban has been lifted. So in case you're waking up, say ulikuwa umeset alarm 9 kwa sababu ulikuwa umejua kuna ban leo, utatumia kama excuse. Wale sana mdosi wako na kungoja kazini. But the ban has indeed been lifted with a memo. So Sam Gituku is coming up. You can still use the hashtag Daybreaks to talk to us. Usicheze mbali, cheza karibu. We'll see you again tomorrow.